Hello friends, my name is Yash Velure and today we are going to see the topic cell, which is a term of biology. So here I had written something here. These are names and these are some dates. So let's see what are these names and the dates. So first, before this, we will see what is a cell. What is a cell? Cell is a functional and structural unit of any organism. Means if you will see, this is a cell. This is a cell. Cell transform into tissue. This is a tissue. Means cell groups to form tissue. Tissue groups to form an organ. Okay. Organ groups to form an organ system. An organ system groups to form an organism. If we will look at human here, so human's basic fundamental unit is cell. After this cell, one cell joins to another cell joins to next cell, and this cell becomes a tissue. Again, this tissue joins to another tissue joins to another and form an organ. Take any brain or lungs, kidney and all other things. Now, all these organs groups with one another to form an organ system. Means how we have an organ system like respiratory system, endocrine system, again nerve system. These all systems again join to form an organism. Means we are not only with a cell, not only with a tissue, not only with an one organ, not only with an only one system. These all things contribute to form an organism. Now, how this we know? So this credit goes to these scientists. So let's see who are these. Zacharias Janssen. He is the what we can say the inventor of microscope. Janssen. He is inventor of microscope. He had invented microscope. Second person is Galileo. Galileo had modified it. Why? Because the microscope which was being made by Zacharias Janssen was simply the two lens which were below the glass, and he was seeing like this. Means one lens in one hand, second lens in second hand, and see these are lens, and here is an object. Now he would see like this. It would reflect and it would be greater. These light rays were being greater, and these two lenses were kept in hand and were being seen. If it was a very small object, then it was not possible easily to see the any object. So he had modified and made a structure like this. Here one lens, here for seeing one lens, and here means it was again in hand, but it was little bit modified. Then after some years, means see, the Zacharias Janssen invented in 1590. 1590 the microscope was invented. Then after 20 years, in 1610, Galileo had modified it. Then in again 1610, Robert Hooke saw Robert Hooke was a businessman plus scientist, and he had seen a piece of cork, which was a bark of tree, means dead tree. So this was a cork like shape. This was a cork which was used in the bottles that time, and he had cut the slices of it and seen in his own microscope, which was having a base only, which was having a handle which was handling all these things and without any movement. And he was the first person to see a cell. So Robert Hooke saw a cell, but it was dead. First he named this as a cellula, and then he termed it as a cell. That cell was in hexagonal shape, means like this. There were his observation was, he had means it was looking like an honeycomb like structure was being seen by him, and there were these room like structures were there, and only this he saw in his microscope. Now comes Anton van Leeuwenhoek. In 1674, means around 64 years later, Anton van Leeuwenhoek had seen the first living cell of pond water. He had little bit modified in the microscope and saw a living cell in pond water. Now, after some years, Robert Brown, he was a scientist who discovered the nucleus. Nucleus was discovered in the root of orchid plant. In a root of orchid plant, he had discovered the nucleus. How he had discovered, we will see. Means, when the living cell was seen, it was looking like this. If this is a cell, means everything looks black and white, we can say, because the ink which they used for seeing anything in microscope was with a black ink or a blue ink. Then the exact look which Anton van Leeuwenhoek had in his microscope was like this. There was a surrounding black, here was something, and everywhere like this dots were there, and some here like this were there, and some big dots. More than regular dots, there were some big dots. And he saw some structures which were having like this two time circles they were having, and he saw some structures which were like this. Here was a big, here was again a little bit big, and similar to this cell, he saw this also cell. There were some again big dots, and this was again surrounding. This was the real look. Now this only look was seen by Robert Brown. He thought that there isn't some big like thing in cell, and we would name it as a nucleus. We will name it as nucleus. This was an animal cell, and this was a plant cell. Now by Robert Brown, he had named that any big round shape was a nucleus. So this he had termed as nucleus in plant cell, and this he had termed as nucleus in plant cell. Afterwards, Purkinje came. Here he had made a lineage theory. Here he had termed the protoplasm. Means when he saw this cell, Sometimes it was means little bit moving, or he saw some activities, minor activities he saw accidentally in animal cell. So he said that there are some living structures in these which are moving. So that living structures in the cell were called as protoplasm. Now this children and Schwann, they had proposed the cell theory. Cell theory by with the help of this protoplasm term. They had proposed any cell theory by seeing the plant cell, only plant cell. By seeing the plant cell, they had proposed a theory, and then Rudolf Virchow was a scientist who had modified this theory. And he had made a lineage theory in which he said that any cell, means this is a cell, so this cell came in existence because of some other cell. There is a other cell, and because of this cell being in existence, means he called this as pre-existing cell and this as existing. So any cell became in existence because of the pre-existing cell. Now came Knoll and Ruska. What they did? They invented electron microscope. Electron microscope, by which they saw many organelles between these cells. Here they had found the mistake in Robert Brown and said that this is in plant cell, the big thing is not a nucleus, but in reality it is a vacuole. Here they said it is right that it is nucleus, but here it is vacuole, and this little small structure is nucleus. These are the things which these 9 scientists had been invented. Now here again one thing is there. The scientists not only modified this theory but also termed omnicellula, e-cellula. He had coined the term omnicellula, e-cellula. So what are these points? What are the organelles? What is omnicellula, e-cellula? How the Knoll and Ruska had analyzed these all cell organelles. This point we will see in our next video. So thank you.